Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. This is going to be a no communications reading for folks that are dealing with Libra. Hello, general collective of random other zodiacs. If you found yourself here, it's because you are dealing with a Libra that you're not in communication with, and you're hoping to get a little bit of insight as into what that Libra might be thinking or feeling, or what they might say to you if they were given the opportunity, okay? So again, welcome to the channel. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for your continued support. If you're a new viewer, you're welcome as well. I hope you all are doing well and awesome in your lives. All right, guys, let's get into it. What you're going to see here, you're going to see on the bottom left, there will be 3 cards here representing Libra's message towards you, the Libra that you're not in communication with. And on the top right, there will be 3 cards which would indicate your messages towards Libra, if those lines of communication were to be opened, or even if they're not, just what you're kind of feeling about the situation, or what you're making of this time apart, right? And again, no communication, like absolutely zero. No talking, no texting, no Skyping, no Snapchats, no, driving past the house at 4 a.m. looking in the windows. That's creepy. Don't do that. Nothing like that, okay? All right, guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment if you find resonance in the video. Or if you just generally like the vibe and you want to stay up on my content, you can, like I said, you can subscribe, all right? Let's go ahead and start. Let's go. Oh, timestamp is in the description box, as well as all the information you need if you want to get an order with me, if you want to place an order for a personal, all that will be in the description box, okay? But the timestamp is there for those who want to skip past the shuffling and my little jibber jabber that I'm doing right now, okay? All right, guys, let's get into it. I want to see 3 cards from Libra to the viewer, sharing what they might want to say during this time period of no communication. What would Libra like to say to the viewer if those lines of communication were to be opened, or if Libra suddenly decided to step forward and speak their mind? What would they like to say to the viewer? 3 cards, please. Wow, that's one. Ooh, side position. Let's see. Huh, that's weird. Okay, thank you. Second card, please, from Libra to the viewer. Okay, that's a lot. This, is that right? Yes, they want me to take that. 2 here. So because they came layered, I'm not going to take it. But because that one was solo, that's why I'm going to take that one, okay? Final card. Okay, there you go. And what would the viewer like to say to Libra? 3 cards from the viewer to Libra, please. Show me. First card. Oh my gosh, come on. Second. One more, please. One more from the viewer to Libra. Oh my God. All right, there we go. Final card. No bottom of the deck in this reading, guys. If I need to, I'll clarify any messages that aren't so clear. And at the end, we'll also do an oracle card. I'm guessing this could come down a little bit more like that. How's that look? Let's take this out and bring these a little closer to the center. Sorry, I'm kind of particular about the spacing. Kind of particular. I am particular about it. All right. And let's flip the card that came face down on Libra's side. All right. All right, guys, let's see what's going on. So, viewer, the Libra that you're not in contact with, what they would want to say to you collectively would be the Universe card in reverse, 9 of Coins, and the Death card. Collectively, they're pretty much over it. I think that they feel good where they are. They are taken care of. And really, really kind of befitting many of them, I'm sure. Many of them are like really looking forward to Halloween. Like Halloween is like their favorite holiday. And so they've got some big plans for Halloween. Like they're really like jazzed up about it, okay? But let's see what all these cards mean individually. So first card, Universe card in reverse, aka the World card in reverse. That is what it looks like in the upright. Major Arcana, that is associated with the fixed signs, so Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. You might be one of those signs, but you don't have to be. It's a general collective, okay? Now, I'll leave this in the upright because, as you can see, this is like a card of victory, right? Or maybe not victory, but certainly feeling successful, or certainly feeling very accomplished. And what is this? This is like a beauty queen, right? So it's like a being bestowed some type of honor or some type of prize, right? But in the reverse. Now you're thinking, oh, in the reverse, that means they're doing awful. Not really, because the traditional understanding of this card is about endings. It's about endings and new beginnings. And while I think certain things are not going super well on Libra's side, I think that they would tell you they're kind of rolling with the punches, because I think maybe some of them are just like doing a lot of positive self-talk, or it's kind of a thing that air signs can do. And I know some Libras will be watching this, so I don't mean to offend you guys, but a lot of a lot of air signs can do a lot of double speak, or I don't know like if there's a term for it or a turn of phrase for it, but it's kind of like one of those things. They believe their own lies, okay? Air signs more than any other sign, due to the fact that they're the air element, which is integral to communication, integral to how we relate to one another in terms of verbal communication or written communication or any type of intercommunications with other people, right? So while it, to you and me, the outsiders, this coming in the reverse is like, hey, that's bad. Or, things are not going so good, huh, Libra? It's like, no, to the Libra, everything is fine. And so if they were to tell you anything, they would say, I'm fine. Now, with this world in reverse, maybe they have lost out on a few things, or maybe they're not feeling rewarded, right? Because again, the image that is on this card is of someone being rewarded, or being told you're the best, you're Miss Universe, you're Miss World, you're Miss Galaxy, whatever the hell, I do not pay attention to pageants at all. So that is what is depicted on this card, but as it came here in the reading, it's in the reverse. But what I'm telling you intuitively is that this Libra, whoever you're not talking to, they're not going to tell you things are not okay in their life. They're not going to tell you that maybe they were hoping to secure something. Maybe they were hoping, like I said, to win something or be awarded something or to be given passage. Because the other thing about the Universe card is it can talk about travel. So some of them maybe had travel plans that they had to cancel, but they're not going to tell you that. I mean, obviously they're not telling you anything since you're not speaking, but if they were going to open their mouths and say anything to you, it would come out as everything is fine, my life is great, even though it's not working out all the ways that they had hoped. It's not a complete failure, because I know what's coming after this. Like, I can feel why they feel that way. Certain things, like basically, if this was to give it like a visual metaphor, if this was a cake, and if this was like a birthday cake, like if if Libra was expecting, and it is their birthday season, right? It is October, so okay, kind of fits. I'm like, why am I talking about cake? So let's say Libra was expecting, is expecting or was expecting a cake on their birthday, and they were expecting like a 2-tier, 3-tier thing with like royal icing and fondant and delicious buttercream and like 3 different flavorings within the cake and da-da-da-da-da. And all they got was like a sheet cake from like the local grocery store. Or even worse, like a bundt cake from like... I don't know about how it is where you guys are, but where I shop, sometimes a bundt cake isn't even iced. It's just cake in a plastic container. And somebody throws that at Libra and says, happy birthday. And Libra's like, I'm fine. That's exactly what I wanted. Knowing full well in their heart of hearts, what I really wanted was that tiered cake with the buttercream and all the different flavors and the decorations and, you know, a big celebration. And all they got was like a cheap store-bought cake. They're gonna say that was all right to your face. Why? Because they got cake anyway. Okay, listen. This is not what this is, nine of coins. This is not what this is, but this is kind of what I feel like. Nine of coins is traditionally a card of abundance, right? Single ladies card. It's normally what you'll see is a woman in a garden with, like, she's surrounded by coins and pentacles and she looks really rich. And this woman on this card also looks rich, okay? But what I'm getting... The image here is so interesting. If you guys are new to my channel, I resonate a lot through like media, so like television and movies and book references and music references. And so what they're showing me is, you know how like in the 80s, like everybody was like a rich bitch on TV, like Dallas and Dynasty and like all the soap operas, the women with like the huge hair and the shoulder pads and the dangling earrings that would just like fall to the ground, even though, you know, they didn't literally, but they were like huge drooping earrings, right? Excess. It looks rich. But a lot of those storylines, eventually the women get kidnapped or, you know, there's extortion and blackmail and all this drama going on behind the scenes. But when the credits roll, you just see them driving their Rolls Royce and, you know, there's like stallions in stables, like the lifestyles of the filthy rich kind of thing, you know. But on the inside, things are turbulent. That is what this Libra would not tell you, but that's what's going on. And this is interesting because, you know, I've only done this reading this week. This is the first time I've done it. And this is the first time where, well, not the first time. Or, again, this Libra would double speak to you. So maybe they would talk in code to you. I don't know why. I don't know why they would do this. But if you know them, let's get into that. I feel you know this person, family, friends. It could be lovers, could be ex-partners, maybe, but this definitely right now feels like family, friends. Not family and friends is how I guess I should phrase that, to break the words up. Now, it feels like this Libra would tell you, I'm okay, I've got money, I've got the basics, right? Because again, I could want an elaborate cake, but if somebody throws a quarter of a bundt cake towards me, I'm satisfied. They're like okay with getting the bare minimum in whatever situation they're currently in, or whatever stage or phase of their life they're in, or whatever is prominently in front of them. It covers their bases. So what I'm getting is somebody who is making do with the trappings of what looks to be success. Meaning, if they're at a job with pentacles here, right? And maybe that's what they were expecting at their job with the universe in reverse. Maybe they were expecting a promotion, right? Maybe they were expecting to, you know, be hired into a management position, or they were hoping to get, you know, put on as a lead on a project, or maybe they were hoping for a bonus, whatever. It didn't happen, or it's not happening. And so maybe they would tell you, oh, I went in for this job with the, you know, I went and I applied, and you might say, or whoever might say to Libra, well, I'm asking what they would say to you. So you might say, oh yeah, how'd that go? How was the interview? Oh, the interview went well, blah, 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 blah. And then eventually, actually, did you get the job? And they're going to be like, no, I didn't get it. And you're going to be like, you might be like, oh, I'm sorry. And they're like, no, it's okay. Because they are convinced that what they have still works. And that's true. You know, if you still get to keep your same job, but you were hoping for a promotion or a bonus or whatever to make more money, to increase your resume, to increase your social, your status within the company, that's great. but it doesn't mean you lose where you started. So they're okay to be at the baseline. That's what it feels like. But internally, oh man, they're disappointed. But they don't want to tell you that. They have no reason. Because again, it's not like they lost anything. Okay? So if that's like specific to a job, yeah. If this is about a relationship, well, maybe they were hoping to connect with someone or travel with someone. Like maybe you guys are friends. Again, I feel friends and family. And so maybe you know that Libra is hooked up with someone, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever, you don't know. And maybe you're not so fond of the partner, or maybe, you know, things weren't going so well. Maybe your opinion of the partner doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and take that back. But let's just say, you know, Libra and their partner are kind of at odds, or it's been a rough patch. And so you ask, oh, how's life with the husband? How's life with the wife? Right? Oh yeah, you know, they tell you this like months ago, or they told you over a year ago, you know, come October 2019, we're going to vacation to South Africa, whatever. We're going to just go travel and do whatever. With the universe card, again, a card that can indicate some type of travel, some type of, you know, adventuring around the globe. Now that has come, and this is in reverse, plans are canceled. Maybe by now they're divorced or they're separated or something like that. And so whatever you know or don't know, I'm not sure of how much of this Libra's life, because this doesn't feel like years of not talking to a Libra. This feels like weeks or months that you guys have like just kind of gone silent on each other. It feels passive. It doesn't feel like either of you are angry at each other. It really feels like, you know, we both got busy. You have a life, I have a life, and we just don't really keep up with each other, right? It could have been adversarial. You're all going to have different experiences. But if you were to contact this person, or they contact you, and you get to talking about, hey, what happened to South Africa? They're going to be like, oh, it didn't happen. Oh, what happened? They're not going to tell you it fell apart because me and my husband or me and my wife had a huge knockdown, drag out, you know, verbal argument in the middle of Applebee's where, you know, I ended up walking out with a beer spilled over my head. They're not going to tell you that. They're just going to say, oh, you know, it just wasn't the right time. That's all they're going to tell you. It just wasn't the right time. This keeping up of appearances, like I was telling you about what I was seeing about like those 80s, like soap opera, you know, primetime dramas where, you know, two people walk into a room and they play pleasantries. Oh, it's good evening, Barbara. Good evening. And then like cut to a scene and they're outside having a cat fight, falling down the stairs, like getting into a brawl in the shrubs, like drama that does not mesh with the pretense of riches or the pretenses of a happy home. That is what they would not tell you. There's something, and again, being a Libra, duality, being an air sign, focused on communication, they will tell you a half truth. Things are fine. Today, yeah, that would be true. If you picked up the phone today, or they picked up the phone today, how are you? Everything's good. That is true in this moment. What about last night? Well, I got super drunk, got pulled over, was doing 80 in about a 35. It happened to be in a residential area, and the person who pulled me over was my father-in-law. They're not going to tell you all of that. They're just only going to answer your specific questions regarding this exact moment. Does that? Okay, I'm going to move on, because I feel there's more brewing under the surface with this Libra than they would ever care to admit, and they're not going to. Now, the final part of their message to you, or what they might say to you, is the Death card. Major Arcana for Scorpio. So some of you might be Scorpios, or they might be dealing with Scorpios, or there might not be any damn Scorpio. It's a general. It doesn't really matter. So, wow. Okay. This is the first time I've felt this, but it's really due to the artwork of the card. Some of these Libras are really like into the occult. Meaning, a lot of Libras are going to watch this video, or at least there's going to be one who's like, oh, I'm being called out. Yeah, you're being called out. They practice tarot. They're kind of into their mediumship or whatever they're doing. They cultivate their other senses, their clairvoyance, their clairsentience, all that good stuff, okay? At least one of these Libras is like, they love this stuff, okay? And that's great because, you know, I love when people love tarot and all this other kind of stuff. So some of them are like really into like astrology, and they're really into mysticism, and some of them practice, you know, Eastern religions, and some of them are studying like I'm getting like even like specifically like Taoism, or oh god, what's the I forget the name of that. I forget the name of that monk. Anyway, it was like a monk from like dynasties ago, and I learned about him in college, but I totally forgot about it. Anyway, so some are like really deeply into this occult space, or at least it entertains them, or you know, they would maybe that's what they would tell you. Is like, I've gotten into it recently, you know, I've turned to, you know, a trusted advisor who happens to be like a psychic medium or some shit like that. So their interest in, to kind of give it a Harry Potter spin, the dark arts, right? Their interest in the dark arts feels kind of new, feels kind of like an escape, feels like it's something to fill their waking hours or their time. In some, they take it seriously, but others, they're just like, they're looking for something to do. They're looking for some, okay, this again would not be what they tell you, but this is what's going on behind the scenes. Given what I said previously with the other two cards, how things behind the scenes are not going well, but they're not going to tell you that. They say to you, this final piece, I'm kind of into astrology right now, or I'm really getting into trying to understand my birth chart, and I want to learn how to read tarot, or I have someone reading tarot for me, blah, 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 blah. They tell you this stuff. You know, again, I feel this is like family and friends. Like, you're just like catching up on old times if you guys were to communicate. They wouldn't tell you that the reason I'm doing this is because I think I'm fucking hexed, or I'm trying to put a spell on my husband to make him die. That's an exaggeration. But you see what I mean? Like, their motivation is to gain control over their own life, over their own destiny, trying to piece things together to plot their course forward. Again, archetypally, think about it. What is this card? Death. And what word did I use? Control. You cannot control death. And so the Libra who would be getting into this type of space, thinking that it works A plus B equals C, step 1, step 2, step 3, and ignoring the fact that energy doesn't, just the fact that energy in the universe doesn't always work that way, okay? It's not as prescribed or regimented or predictable as 2 plus 2 equals 4. Sometimes in the universe's eyes, 2 plus 2 equals 18, equals 44, equals 0. Whatever the fuck the universe wants. Because, okay, that's just my opinion. Let me pull myself out of that. Now, so because of the trouble going on behind the scenes, unhappiness in the home, misfortune on the job, not getting what they want, not being awarded, not having money like they wish, not traveling like they want to, there is a and this is again not even the traditional understanding of the death card, but there is a purposeful, subconscious, subtextual, hidden attempt to control something to do with, again, quote unquote, the dark arts. I'm just going to label it as that because this could be in meditation. You know, it's easy to say, oh, go meditate to somebody. Or it's easy to tell somebody, you know, to gain some balance in your life, maybe you should try yoga or meditation, right? It's easy to say that. When someone does their own meditation, you don't know what they're meditating on. Ideally, you would think, oh, I want peace and calm, and I want, you know, to remove, quote unquote, like bad juju from my body or bad juju from my aura, right? From my space, right? But then think about it. go with me on this. What does bad really mean? Every time we say good or bad, what does it really mean? What's bad to me might be amazing to you. What's awful to this Libra might be beneficial to somebody else, or vice versa. You see what I mean? So if they're saying this is just an exaggeration, but at least one of them is like really this type of manipulator, or this really has this really skewed perspective on what it means to work in this space. At least one of them is sitting down with meditation, sitting down journaling, sitting down and thinking of what they want to get after in this esoteric space. And it has a very skewed motivation. I want so-and-so to lose their job. What? You're meditating on that, you're journaling on that, you're praying on that, you're going to a tarot reader, or you're practicing your own tarot, you're casting runes, you're doing whatever to see another person lose. That's not how you do that. Okay? But at least one of them has that intention. But like I said before, the quality of all air signs, and particularly this Libra in this reading, or this group of Libras, this energy of Libra right now, is to double speak, to believe a lie, to convince themselves that their motivations, their goals, what they are after is correct, is right, is in line with something. In line with something positive, I guess. I'm going to move on because, now, what would you say to Libra, given the chance to speak to them? You would say 10 of coins. Now, as a friend and a family member, this is kind of relative, right? I mean, they've got the 9 of coins on their line and you've got the 10 of coins on your line. So I think of the two of you, the one who's the more successful party would be you. Now, I mean successful maybe in terms of money, maybe in terms of job. Sure. But what I'm really feeling is contentment. A lot of discontent down here, you know. This not, again, untraditional. The reading I have to do here is more intuitive than not, because this Libra is putting up false pretenses or putting on a mask. They're not being forthright. Granted, you're not speaking, so that's part of it. And if you were to speak, they would continue to wear the mask, right? So on your line, truthfully, or at least more in line with objective truth, is to say that you are contented, viewer. You're very contented. 10 of coins. You're very secure. You feel safe. You feel happy. If this is like, you know, then they turn around in conversation. So tell me about your husband or your wife, or how's things in the home with you? You're like, oh my God, it's so fabulous. Little Bradley, he's starting 2nd grade. He's so excited, blah, 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 blah. And it would just be like very honest, very flowy, full of detail. Note, if you were to talk to this Libra, they would lack detail. Note that. No, you would be full of detail. You would be full of all the little, you know, and then, you know, the little anecdotal things. Oh, and I forgot to tell you about this and that and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And you would just really be gushing with positivity. This person would fake positivity, okay? That's pretty simple. Put that down very quickly. And it's not coming from a place of you would be trying to outshine them. I'm going to say that because the 9 and the 10 and how it's like an ascension, or it's an increase, right? It's not that you would be gloating. It would really, I feel like this is like two friends who haven't talked in a little while being like, oh, let's catch up over brunch. And then you do, and it sounds like everybody's happy. But one of you, the Libra, most likely, or at least I've asked for it here. It could go the other way. It's a general, right? One of y'all is faking it. That's the end all be all of it. One of you is faking it. Now, the other part of your message to Libra would be the King of Wands. I forgot in this deck all the figures are female. So the King of Wands. So more confirmation that you are at the top of your game, or at least, again, it's not in a gloating way. This is like how you're just living your life. You feel very accomplished. You feel very secure. You feel very solid. In terms of this being King of Wands, fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You might be a fire sign. You don't have to be. There doesn't have to be a fire sign in the story at all. But I feel that you would greet them warmly, you know? Look at, I mean, it's almost like a Jackie O vibe, you know? But it's like, and the waving, right? So I feel that you would greet Libra warmly. Like, it really, you would feel great to talk to them again. Like, you're not bringing anything to the table, at least in these first two cards, it feels, where you're like, oh, Libra, why didn't we talk? Or, hey, how come you never returned that one text message? And, you know, that's the reason you guys, like this, again, this feels like you guys just lost touch. It doesn't feel like anybody was angry at the other, right? So even that potential of, oh, how come you didn't return my text? You don't even like care. You're like already over it. Or you're just like, oh, it's so good to see you, Libra. Oh, and I'm feeling like this embracing, and it's, I can't wait to catch up. What's been going on? Because there is like this very genuine interest in future. You know, the King of Wands is a visionary, right? So for you, if this is like an old friend, an old cousin, you would be like, oh my God, we have to get the kids together. You might, you know they love Halloween. So you might be like, what's going on for Halloween? What are we wearing? What are we dressing up as? What are the decorations going to be? Like, you're very enthusiastic to reconnect. Or at least not to initiate the reconnection, because I don't think either side is pushing for this. But if it were to happen, if it were to come about, you'd be like jumping right in the saddle, being like, yes, here's my good friend Libra. Or, oh my God, I've missed my sister Libra. Let's go ahead and get back to being bosom buddies, okay? So this King of Wands visionary would be thinking of, oh, okay, so now that we're talking again, here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw a really bomb-ass Halloween party, and then, of course, we got to get ready for Thanksgiving. And then, oh my God, Christmas. What are you guys doing for Christmas? Are you guys coming to my house? Or am I you would really like want to know, and it's very bonding. And I think I'm getting that because of the 10 of coins that came out in the front. 10 of coins, to go back to it, is a card of longevity, is a card of legacy, family bonds, right? And having all the generations together, parents, grandparents, children, great-grandchildren, aunts, uncles, everybody's in the house. So there's like this huge pull towards community from you, viewer, and you would greet Libra that way. And again, I'm telling you, they would greet you the same way. Or they would try and match you. And that could also be what's, ooh, girl, listen. Nope, not going to say anything. Moving on. The final part of what you would tell Libra is the Lovers in reverse. So, just to show you that in the upright. Major Arcana for Gemini. Again, you might be a Gemini. There might be a Gemini in here. It doesn't matter, though. You might tell them, again, I keep getting like meeting over brunch and like just sitting down over a meal and like reconnecting and like reestablishing some normal sense of communication. So I feel with this Lovers in reverse, you might tell them, you know, you wouldn't be mad that you fell apart, but you might tell them in earnest, you know, for a second I was worried about you. I was worried that things weren't going well with you. Like, you might have known or suspected that on their side that the job was kind of rocky, or the marriage was kind of rocky. So you might express to them, I was a little worried, but now that you told me that, again, some of you are just going to swallow what the hell Libra says like it's cherry pie. You don't have to be careful, because they're not lying to you to hurt you, or they're not withholding information to hurt you. They're lying to keep up a pretense. So that is what I would warn you. This person wears a mask, and it's not yet Halloween. It's not a Halloween mask. This is a mask of life. This is a mask of happiness. This is a mask of contentment. They want to be seen that way. If you want to accept that, you may do so. But I feel that, interestingly enough, you might challenge this person by saying, well, I was worried about you and Mike, or I was worried about you and Sharon. I was worried about you guys. I was concerned, you know, that things weren't going to go well. But now that you've told me that everything is fine, I believe that everything is fine. Okay. They're not going to fight you on that. If you call them out and say, Are you really happy in your marriage? Are you really happy that you didn't get, or not happy, but are you really okay with still being in your same position at your job? Or if it was more directly like a loss of money, maybe like a huge, because I suddenly was drawn back to money, and I'm like, we didn't really talk heavily about money other than the pretense and like rich people looking like they don't have troubles, but they actually do. I am recalling, I think it was Libra's October reading. It might have been the end of October. No, I think it was their October reading. Or maybe it was one of their readings. I'm pretty sure it was Libra, where I basically got in their ass because somebody lied about finances. I think it was Libra. I could be wrong. And they were like being put out the house. Somebody was like getting evicted. And it was like tearing a relationship apart. That lie over money. So you might inadvertently trigger them with your very like casual, and I was so worried about the house and the kids, and oh, now that you've told me everything is fine. And I hate to put on like this female voice. I mean, you could be a guy doing this. Oh man, I'm so glad that everything worked out for you. You know, whatever. So please don't think that this is only females up here that are watching that would resonate, okay? But you might inadvertently trigger them into continuingly lie to you, or continuingly to put on this mask and play this game. I don't know why they would do this. Do I want to clarify anything? I don't think so. Oh, right, collectively, the central energy. So collectively you share these two cards, right? So Libra's line to yours, the Death card to the Lovers, okay? Death is, again, what death really is about change and transformation. Those are like the traditional understandings, two of the big traditional understandings and interpretations of that card. Not happening here. That is not happening here. Or if it is happening here, it's happening under some type of a very strong essence or a very strong handle on manipulation or finessing. If it's not straight up manipulation, let's go ahead and say finessing, okay? So this Libra would finesse, would manipulate your perception of them in that moment, in that brunch, in that lunch, in that dinner. Easier if it's through text. If you can't see them, they can just tell you anything, right? So there is this, okay, they want me, okay, thank you, okay. Maybe by Halloween, because again, I said that in the beginning, some of them are like really psyched for Halloween, okay? By Halloween or some significant date in October or thereabouts, maybe even bleeding over into November, some of them might change, might put something to bed. Endings. There might be an eventual confession or an admittance that, hey, me and Mike, me and Petunia, me and whoever, Petunia, who the hell are you? I'm talking to my guides. Petunia. I have old guides. Like they're from like the 1800s or some shit. It's so funny. Anyway, they might tell you, listen, remember when you contacted me earlier this month? Or remember when we had that lunch back in October and I said everything was great? Nope, not true. Because this Death card could eventually, for some of them, turn or become a card of transformation, become this moment where they let go of their old lives, their old lives with a V, or their old lies, okay? And they let it go. And then they come back and they reveal a truth about possibly, as you saw with the Lover's card, a union that is donezo, right? That's for some. Not everybody's going to do that because whatever energy I'm in, it's deception, okay? You to them, Lovers in reverse, to your Death card, I think that you might already intuit, might already have a clue that things are not okay on their side, and you would wait for them to transform and tell you or come clean to you. This is not really super impactful to your relationship with this Libra. I feel, again, family, friends, whatever is going on down here, whatever they don't tell you, whatever they lie about or omit, it doesn't really impact you. So that's why I feel, even if you recognize, some of you will recognize, I know you're lying in this moment when you tell me everything is okay, but you're not going to call them on it because you're not that person. You don't feel you have the role or the right to challenge them on whatever they're going through. It's their journey, it's their pain, it's their drama, whatever. You don't want to be involved. Lovers in reverse, you don't want to, because the Lovers upright can sometimes indicate making a choice, making a head or heart decision, right? And now that it's in the reverse on your line going towards the Death card, it feels as though I'm not going to choose. I'm not going to make my friend feel uncomfortable the moment that we're reconnected. The moment that we now have started up conversation again, I'm not going to, challenge them. I want them to be happy as happy as they can be. And if they feel happy and content to lie to me or shade the truth or withhold some details, that's their business. It's really not my call. It's not my judgment to make on whether or not they're doing the right thing. All right? So, no clarification. I feel this has been a very clear message. It probably won't resonate with many people, but if you got something here, you let me know. Now, are we doing an oracle card? I think so. Which deck, please? Which one again? Okay, thank you. That's what I thought. Good old Lucy Cavendish and the magical spell cards. Alright, guys, let's see what comes out for this reading. Viewer, I think you're pretty good. There's no beef on your end. There's no drama on your end. So I want to specifically see an oracle for Libra, please. A specific oracle card for Libra in their situation. What does Libra, or what can the oracle reveal to us about what Libra is going through, or what they need to tend to, what they need to pay attention to? What does Libra need to pay attention to? The Libra not in communication with the viewer. What does Libra need to pay attention to? Yeah, good. One card, please. Psychic protection. Interesting. Considering what I said about them manipulating in the dark arts. Around me now, a shield of gold protecting me strong and bold. Card 40. Alright. If they're gonna do it, they gotta do it right. And I'm not like some grand master of tarot, but I'm not gonna get into it. Moving on. Psychic protection. There are sometimes moments, places, or company where we feel splintered, harmful, sticky energies which can weaken us. When our energy is thus diminished, it can, for a time, impede our ability to live our full potential. Critical families, toxic workplaces, conditional judgments, and fear-filled beings can drain us and leave us feeling depleted and less hopeful than we would usually be. Sometimes it is not possible for us to simply avoid these places. We must walk into them and deal with them. And so it is best to create protection. Just as we would wear protective gloves when handling great heat or waterproof clothing when we're in the rain, we can protect our energetic field so we can go forth without being physically affected. You can be protected by simply working the magic within this spell. If this spell chose you, the universe wants you to know that you need not suffer from being around people or places with disturbing vibes that are disruptive or draining. When you reduce stress, worry, and fears, you will reduce the impact of negativity immensely. You can maintain your energetic integrity with the help of this magical spell, which will offer you strong and impenetrable protection. If you chose this spell, big hugs. You may frequently encounter people and places that you find very difficult, distressing, and draining. There may even be psychic bullies present who force their energy onto others and can cloak a room in their own vibes without even being aware of what they're doing. There are also psychic vampires who feed off the energy of others, and you may be encountering people like this in the places that are toxic. Cast this spell and remember that you can call upon the energetic protection of the universe to ease the impact of any negative energy you may encounter. Please do not blame yourself for encountering this. All of us do, and it is natural to do so at times. If it becomes frequent, we need to do some work to move on altogether. But remember, it is the universe's wish to protect and shelter you from harmful energies. You will be kept safe. So, that was a lot to read anyway, but there is a spell in the book. Again, that's the cover of the book as well as the cover of the box for the cards. Listen, I'm going to, if you've hung in here the whole time, I'm going to introduce a caveat to the reading. Because remember I said with that death and like they're manipulating, quote unquote, the dark arts or the mystic arts or esoteric spaces, right? And I didn't understand how you could try to do some, like again, convince yourself that you're doing something good when you're wishing ill on someone else, right? I said something like that, or that was like the image that I got. I hope Bill loses his job. I get it now. Why they might be turning to the spaces of esoteric arts, of mysticism or the metaphysical, right? Because maybe it's like, in some of their cases, it's going to be the environment or the Oracle was saying, the environment where the people that are around them are toxic. And Libra sometimes can be manipulated, sometimes can be influenced, sometimes can, because they're diplomatic, right? And they don't want to upset the apple cart and they don't want to be seen as an outcast, right? So I go along with the program, even though I know I don't like being here, even though I know I don't like these people, or that they're bad for me, or that they're not, above board, or they're abusive towards me, or this or that and the other, right? Some of them, that's their own making. They do that themselves. Others, it's, again, an influence around them. Like it said in the card, toxic family members or work environments and shit like that. So, caveat. Some of them are trying to manipulate these spaces, tarot, psychics, whatever. I'm not a psychic, I'm just saying that. Trying to work with psychics, being like, hey, tell me what happens with my boss. Is he like going to die in the next year or two? Because he continually sexually harasses me every day, and I can't just quit because I'll not, you know what I mean? It's like some people are in that pickle, I can't leave what I have. Please tell me when these other people are going to leave, or when these other people are going to change. You see what I mean? So caveat there at the end. If you've been here the whole time, thank you guys so much. This has been a long reading. If you liked it, there's a like button down below. Go ahead and hit that for me. You can leave a comment letting me know how this resonated in your life, letting me know if there's a storyline here that worked for you, that applies to your life. You can, of course, share it across your social media platforms. And, of course, subscribe, guys, if you're not subscribed. The response to these types of readings has been pretty positive so far, so I know I will do them again. But with my schedule, it's really tight. I don't know when, I could make it a regular thing. So this specific reading, I don't know when it'll be back, but it will be back on the channel for sure. You can count on that, okay? All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Bye.